don't know if you can hear me out there. Let me know. Live from the studio. It's a one-man show right now. It was kind of crazy just trying to get this all set up in about 15 minutes. I have a newfound respect for my co-host that I always respected anyway, but let me tell you, the respect that I have for Kenny right now, not being here trying to do this, yeah, it's not easy, people, being on this other side and now trying to work everything, trying to work everything out here. But we're doing it. We're here, live from the studio. Kenny may be popping in when he might be coming in late, but there's a lot to talk about. Got my other camera angle here. Just want to make sure everything works. I do want to thank, I need to thank Jake because I had to FaceTime him, and he had to help me do this because there was no way this was going to happen. I was going to FaceTime. I was going to actually do this live from home, and hope for the best and just rant and rave from home about the Yankees and some other things. But I got it working here, and yeah, we're good to go. Thanks for joining us. Let me just hook up the Bluetooth so we could take some calls. There's a lot going on. There is a lot to talk about in the world of sports. My God. What are the Yankees doing? I mean, I've defended the Yankees. I've defended Stanton. I've defended Boone. I've defended Cashman, to the death. Because I think the Yankee fan is just really, sometimes I just feel like they're out of control when it comes to, their criticism so early in the season. Now I'm at the point where I think they deserve everything they get. And then some. And then some. It's beyond bad what I'm watching. It's stuff you wouldn't accept from little leaguers. It's stuff you wouldn't accept from anybody, really. I don't even know where to start. I could tell you the number to call in is 845-366-2095. 845-366-2095. And it's gone beyond Gary Sanchez, people. It's terrible. Again, I need to really thank Jake Krantz. He got home from baseball practice. He didn't have time to come here with me to set this up, but he did it all via FaceTime. As you can see, I don't have the TV on because I can't. My mental capacity wasn't able to handle it all. I think I should just dive right into the Yankees. And where do you start? Where do you start, people? I don't mind. I'm going to be honest. I don't mind physical errors, right? They talked about this actually on the broadcast. And this is stuff that you tell little leaguers and you tell youth kids all the time, and it's true. You don't mind physical errors, right? As long as you're doing everything right. Because shit happens, right? Ground ball, you boot a ground ball, things happen. As long as you're doing your 1-2, you're getting ready, you're ready for the ball. You always say, look, can't control where the ball's hit, but you can control being ready when it's hit to you. The errors that are being made are simply because the team is lazy and has their head up their ass. What I saw yesterday was the end, right? And I want to give this team the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to give them more time. And I've had discussions with people, and I've posted on social media, like I thought the Yankees would go 5-5, maybe 5-6. at the worst, they would go 5-7. Right? Now they're 5-10. They're the worst team in the American League. And it's not like they're hitting the ball hard and just shit's not happening, right? Again, slumps happen. Those kinds of things happen. You don't get mad. The other guy on the other side, the team on the other side is getting paid a hell of a lot of money to get you out, right? The pitcher on the other side, he's getting paid millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to get you out, and he's the best in the world at it. But some of the shit that I see from this team with the type of swings that they take, from the way that they play defense, it's just so lazy, and it's from the top down. And it all starts with Boone. You can say Cashman, and we'll get to him in a minute. But this right now starts with Aaron Boone, because they had a team meeting, and they've played worse. They've actually played worse. I don't know how it's possible, but they've played worse. You have a team that it's actually, and look, should you be surprised? No. You want to know why you shouldn't be surprised? Because lazy baseball is obviously okay and tolerated on this team, because Gary Sanchez plays every day. So why does Aaron Hicks, why does he think he doesn't have to hit or field the ball or field a ball, cleanly? What about Clint Frazier? Right? Get a hit, Clint. Do something. Don't throw the ball to first base when a guy's tagging from first to second and the guy's tagging going home. What the hell are you doing? And by the way, everybody's been complaining about Clint Frazier, and he should be playing. Give him a chance for years. I've had discussions with guys like Kyle Tockerman and other people, and I'm like, look, I'm not really sold on Clint Frazier. He's good to spot start. He's good as a backup. He's good to put in the game, and maybe you can catch lightning in a bottle, kind of like what the Yankees tried to do with Jay Bruce. It just didn't work out. Now you got Clint Frazier as your everyday starter. Now he's your everyday starter. Here he is. What's he batting? $150? He's not good on defense? And Aaron Hicks in center field just looks like he has no clue what's going on? I mean, it comes to a point where this stuff is just not acceptable. Look at their pitching staff. Are you telling me you couldn't sign Tanaka? You're spot starting with guys? You have an opener? I should say not a spot starter. You have an opener? You're the New York Yankees. Could it get any worse? You're 5-10. You're going to go 5-11. You're going to go 5-12. I'm tired of this shit. It's got to stop. Hold people accountable. Bench guys now, right now. If you had a meeting and they don't respond, and it's not even that. They had John Flaherty on after they had the meeting, right? And he said, what was one of the most memorable clubhouse team meeting that you had? And he said it was when he played with Joe Torre. I think it was 08, 09, whatever, 2010, when they got no hit by the Astros. And when like 3 or 4 pitchers no hit the Yankees. And Joe Torre just reamed the team out. And he said it's not about the errors. It's not about the hitting slumps. It's about the effort. The effort is despicable. And it's the same thing that's going on right now. You have a catcher. You have a catcher who still doesn't know to put his hand behind his back when he's catching. Tuesday, I was coaching 12U girls softball. We were working with the catchers. And we were doing throwdowns to second. We were working on their footwork, and we were working on a snap throw to first and third, right? To see if we can work on that, to see, if we can catch some girls sleeping, catch them napping. And I said 2 or 3 times, hey, remember, keep that hand behind your back, because if somebody swings and fouls it off, you're going to get a foul tip, you're going to break your finger. It's going to hurt. These girls are 12. Gary Sanchez, hand in front of his crotch, foul ball. Now he had to come out of the game, and he couldn't play another game. So I'm supposed to sit here as today, and I'm supposed to believe that Gary Sanchez put in all this work in last year's offseason, put all this work in last year's offseason. So when nobody was looking, I'm supposed to believe that Gary Sanchez put in all this work. Yet that's the effort he puts in when everybody's watching. Explain it to me. Call me. Explain to me. Defend it. Because it's insane. 845-366-2095. Let me pull something up. Here's your team, people. Here's your team that can't play defense, that's lazy as shit, and is supposed to win the American League East. And they're getting trounced by everybody. They're 4.5 games out of first place. They've only played 15 games. Where's George Steinbrenner when you need him? Because I can tell you this right now. He would have somebody from that organization on the next plane to wherever the hell that team was. And would be giving him the business. Now, Jay Bruce, I'm not going to give Jay Bruce a hard time. He's old. He just retired. A lot of people are giving him shit. He wasn't supposed to be in that situation anyway, right? The only reason he was in that situation is because Luke Voit got hurt. And I think maybe the Yankees felt they could catch lightning in a bottle with Jay Bruce for a month. I'm fine with it. They finally started to move people around. They put LeMahieu at first. I don't understand, though, why the lineup has to constantly change all the time. Why can't you find a lineup and stick with it? Why don't you put Gary Sanchez between two good hitters? Why don't you put Gary Sanchez between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton? Even though Stanton and those guys are struggling a little bit, they still not going to want to. They're not going to pitch around Sanchez to get to Stanton. Right? I don't give a shit about the righty-lefty matchup anymore. I don't care about it. And if Aaron Boone had any balls at all, he should have another meeting and go, look, guys, we had one meeting. I understand it's not your job that's on the line. It's my job that's on the line. I'm the one that's going to get fired. What he should do is he should take the analytics, take the binders, throw them in the garbage, light that son of a bitch on fire, and go, we're not going by the analytics. We're not going to be defined by the analytics. We're going to play the game. We're going to go with our gut reaction, and we're just going to put in 110% effort. And if you don't want to do it, your ass is on the next bus to Scranton. Wilkes-Barre. It's on the bus. And sometimes that's a good thing. And then what you have to do is you have to stick by those guns. And I don't know what Gary said, and I keep picking on Gary Sanchez, so I feel bad. But I don't know what Gary Sanchez's options are. But sometimes to put a foot in a guy's ass, you send him down. And that puts a foot in everybody else's ass. You sit Aaron Hicks. Right? Everybody complained that they re-signed Brett Gardner. They complained that they re-signed Brett Gardner the last time. And I'm like, why would you complain about that? Brett Gardner's a good player. At least he's out there hustling. At least he's not going to be a bonehead in the outfield. At least he brings speed and hustle. At least he's going to hit the ball. Brett Gardner should be playing every day. Sit Hicks. Sit Frazier. Play Talkman. Play Gardner. Why not? What do you have to lose at this point? Just play him. Throw the analytics out the window. Play guys. I don't know what your options are with guys. Like, I understand you can't send certain guys down. Terms of service in the league, the time they've been in, and certain things like that. You got so many options. But if you got one, I think you use it. I think you use it right now before this season's over and you lose your job. It's April and they're 4.5 games out of first place. Complete disaster. It's like laughable. And I got to sit there and watch this train wreck. That's what it is. I'm watching a train wreck in slow motion. Real slow, painful train wreck. I'm going to be honest. I kind of like sitting here. I kind of like having a little bit of control, right? Feel good about myself right now. Just terrible. God. Damn, Yankees are terrible. Gary Sanchez. And I only say that now because he's the top one on the list. He's batting 237. All right. Jay Bruce, 118. He's gone. Odor, they just picked him up 250. Gleyber Torres, 235. Wait, is that this year? All right. Clint Frazier, 167. Aaron Hicks, Aaron Hicks, 160. Aaron Hicks. Yeah, he's not Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks, 160. Aaron Judge, 255. Giancarlo Stanton, 176. DJ LeMahieu, 286. Brett Gardner, 240. Kyle Higashioka, 308. I mean, I would play Gardner and I would play Higgy. I'd sit Frazier or Hicks. I'd actually alternate sitting them. Or sit them both. Put in Talkman. Put in Tyler Wade somewhere. He's on the 40-man roster. I mean, how is this happening? You have Domingo Germán. He's not pitching well, but he's got to get a shot. I mean, your spot starting with, or your opening. You have an opener, Nick Nelson. Be better off with Nick Krantz. But my back hurts, so I got trouble pushing off. My push leg is kind of can't get as much juice on it. You know what I mean? Garrett Cole pitches a hell of a game. Nothing to show for it. You know, Jameson. Look, I like the story, but he's like your third starter. You let Tanaka walk. You should have just given Tanaka money. We wouldn't be in this situation in our starting rotation. We act like Tanaka was washed up? No. The guy knows how to pitch. You want guys that know how to pitch. Not only is baseball starting to become unwatchable, the Yankees are completely unwatchable. And I love the game of baseball, but this shit's got to change. I don't know. Maybe the Yankees can get it back together here. You know, with LeMahieu at first. I don't know what the answer is. If you have an answer, let me know. Aaron Boone's got to just find a lineup and stick with it. Just find a lineup and stick with it. Please. At some point, get it together. I got the Yankees playing like shit. I got the Lakers injured, right? The Devils just get destroyed every game now. You know, they play the Rangers 4 games in a row. The schedule is just stupid. COVID schedule is just dumb. They play 4 games in a row to the Rangers, get their asses kicked. It's terrible. The only saving grace in this town right now, honestly, because the Rangers aren't that good. Dare I say it, the Mets. Look, the Knicks are exciting to watch if you like basketball, but they're not that great. But the Mets are playing some ball. The Mets are winning games. What's the Mets' record? They have good starting pitching. Their bullpen is a little suspect. Right? I mean, that's a problem. But other than that, the Mets are going to be a good team, and they're in a really, really, really tough division. I'll tell you what, that division is a hell of a lot harder. I thought it was going to be a hell of a lot harder than the American League East. The Mets are 7-4. 7-4, and they're playing double headers, and they're playing in shit weather. Hell, at least the Yankees got nice weather at Yankee Stadium. They're playing in a dome in Tampa. They were playing down in Florida against Toronto. They can't win a game. Exactly it. Maybe that's the saving grace. It's not the Mets. It's Abby's softball team. That team has shown more improvement than the Yankees. I'm not really comparing them to a major league team, but they run hard. You know, that's all you ask for is the controllables. right? Worry about what we talk about it every practice. They're getting tired of hearing me say it. You say the same things over and over, right? Controllables. Worry about what you can control, less about what you can't. Aaron Hicks in center field, I wanted to just fly a helicopter over with a hook and just pull him out of center field. It was that bad. It was that bad. And then I got to see him with guys on. They can't even move runners. They don't even make productive outs. In that game, and I know Stanton hit a home run, and I've defended Stanton, just like I defended the rest of the team, but I defend Stanton simply because Yankee fans come out and they boo Giancarlo Stanton in the first game of the season, right? That's a guy you need him to win, right? You don't want to treat him like an opposing player coming in on an opening day. Right? It doesn't matter. I don't care how your feelings are. Like, think about it for a second. Okay, you're frustrated. The dude batted like 400 in the playoffs, hit like 5 or 6 home runs and 10 RBIs. He was one of the only guys that performed in the playoffs. So I think you should give him the benefit of the doubt, or a couple games at least, a couple weeks before you start booing him out of the building. How absurd. And then the Yankee fans then they start. This is exactly why I said I cannot stand the Yankee fan anymore. They're mad, so they throw baseballs on the field. Really? Really? I wish the cops would have came in and swept that entire stadium out and kicked everybody out, at least in the bleachers. Everybody in the bleachers that was throwing shit should have been thrown out and had a ban. Goodbye. See you later. What are you doing? You look like morons. Look like morons. That's why I hate the Yankee fan. So they sit there and they boo Stanton in game 1, game 2, game 3. Give me a break. That's what you do to guys when you don't want them to perform. I just don't understand. But then he hits a home run, and then he proceeds to have one of the worst at-bats I may have ever seen in my entire life. And I get the other guys trying to get you out, and I understand all that. He swung at 3 consecutive pitches. 3 consecutive pitches. One, he just kind of had a defensive swing at, kind of just waved at it with no strikes. He's just waving at a pitch with no strikes. Then he has a defensive swing on no balls and 1 strike. Again, I'll go back to coaching youth sports. I would tell those girls, what are you doing? Why are you swinging at those pitches? They're not your, just because it's a strike. He had a 10-year-old mentality that if the ball's a strike, I have to hit it, or I'm going to get in trouble. Not every strike is your strike. Not every strike is a good strike. A defensive swing with no balls in 1 strike. He took 3 2-strike swings on 3 consecutive pitches in an at-bat. Look, if you got fooled by a pitch and you swung hard and missed it, fine. The 2-strike pitch, it was low. I get it. He's got to swing at it. He's trying to protect. But come on. That wouldn't be that bad to me, but it was just a combination and a compilation of everything that has just happened with this team. And I've defended Boone, but this dude might be in over his head right now. Completely in over his head. I don't even know. The state of baseball, I mean, honestly, it's getting bad. It's getting bad because this is now the norm. The norm of baseball is strikeout, home run. And I don't know what the league is trying to do with some of these rules because it's not helping. They want more offense, but they want shorter games. The game is going to start to die on the vine. And they make changes that have nothing to do with bringing in more fans. But you need to market the game better. You need to find ways to help the little leagues and the youth leagues in this area. You have to go out in full force and canvass those people. Those are the ones you need to get because those are the people of the future that are going to be funding this game. They're not going to be watching. Your TV contracts are going to dwindle. And if it's just strikeouts, if most of the runs are just scored on home runs, It's not going to help the game long term. Strikeouts don't help the game. They just don't. Right? So you want shorter games, more offense. Players have trouble hitting into with the shifts, right? So they're trying to hit home runs. So it's the only way. It's very hard to manufacture runs, right? With the defensive shifts and the alignments and all the analytics, it's very difficult to do. And it's hurting the game. And what else is hurting the game? Like what? How does 7-inning doubleheaders help baseball? How does 7-inning doubleheaders get fans to watch? It doesn't. It doesn't help. It doesn't help the game. I turned on the Met game the other day. I was like, oh, great, the 7th inning. I got, this in 3 more innings, right? 2 innings. 3 innings includes the top of the 7th. All of a sudden, Hernandez or Cohen or one of those guys was like, we're down to the Phillies are down to their last out. I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot. Stupid 7-inning doubleheader. So dumb. Putting a guy at second in extra innings. That one's not that bad because now there's a little more strategy involved. I'm not the biggest fan of it. You have tight-ass strike zones. I don't understand the changes that Major League Baseball is making because they're not conducive to putting a better product on the field. It's just not. It's actually doing everything. It's working against them. And they are terrible at marketing. The number of strikeouts, the number of strikeouts that are deemed acceptable are completely unacceptable. Strikeouts do nothing. They're the most non-productive out. They don't move a runner. The Yankees played an extra inning game against Baltimore. And I'm like, bunt. Take the first hitter and bunt. Bunt the guy over. Of course, the Yankees don't. Luckily, they actually got the run. But what did Baltimore do? First time up. Actually, yeah, and then Baltimore came up, bunted the runner over, and tied the game. And then the Yankees did that in the next inning and didn't score the run. But I'm like, why would you not be thinking to bunt right off the bat? It wasn't like it was Judge or Stanton or anybody up. Bunt the ball. Get the run. Try to win the game. Baseball's going in the shitter. Maybe it's just because the Yankees are bad. If the Yankees were playing well, I'd be here, I'd have these lights flashing, having a good old time. Instead I'm all pissed off. If you could send Mickey Mantle down to the minors, you could send Gary Sanchez down. I'll leave it at that. If going to the minors was good enough for Mickey Mantle, old number 7, Gary Sanchez can go too. And if you notice, it just doesn't care. He just doesn't care in his face. It just looks like he doesn't give a shit. It looks like he doesn't care. Aaron Hicks has the same face. Woe is me. Makes an error. Kick some dirt. Like you're 12. 12 at the Armory, at the Little League field. Oh. You'll have plenty of time to look down at your cleats while you're sitting on the bench. What else can I talk about? I'm not expecting the Yankees have a pitching staff with, all Jacob deGroms on it. But can we get somebody? Look, I know Severino will come back. Did you think that this pitching staff was going to hold down the fort until you got healthy? And then the other day I had to go to the DMV. Shoot me. I had to take a breath because I thought I was going to say something or do something that would have put me in handcuffs at the DMV. People wonder why. I wish Kenny was here because I could bounce this story off him. So I'm just going to tell. I got two stories about this, the DMV in New York State. So, always, there's always part of these stories that some of the shit's my fault. Let's be honest. All right, I get it. So, my car registration was expired. So Amy was walking around the car. Jake pulled up, and she goes, your registration's expired. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, no, I didn't know that. She's, yeah, it expired at the end of March. I'm like, all right, I'll register it online. I go online. They won't let me register the car because I have outstanding tickets or tolls in Massachusetts. So I'm like, ugh. So now I can't. So now I have to call Massachusetts, find out how much I owe. And it was like $55, right? So I call. They're like, just go online and pay it. The only problem is it's going to take 4 to 5 days or 6 days for it to go through, so then you can renew the registration. And I'm like, Jesus, I need to renew it now, right? We're going away. Jake was going to need the car. I'm like, this is going to be a disaster. So I'm like, it's 2021. I can get pictures from Elon Musk of a rover that he put on another planet in less than 2 hours. We can't electronically register the car and send it to New York DMV and just have it done? Let them know that I paid the fine? Yeah, Cozumel, you wish. So anyway, I get the I pay the fine. I'm like, look, I'm going to go up to DMV. I'm just going to explain it. Right. I'm going to explain the situation that I wonder if I can get this done today, whatever. So I go up to the guy at the front door. And he says, can I help you? I said, look, I need to register my car. I had to pay a fine, but I need to try to get this done today if I can because I'm going away and, whatever the case may be. Right. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes, you pay your fine. I go, I have my receipt for the fine. I have everything right here. They said it would take a couple days if electronically. He goes, well, we can help you. He brings over another lady that's out there. And she says, oh, he renewed it with Massachusetts today? Yeah, it should be fine. Everything should, it should be okay. I go, great. He goes, I'm going to go take this, blah, 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 blah. You wait here, fill this out. So as I'm filling out the forms, a third lady comes over, takes the form, circles what I need. I explain to her what I'm trying to do. She says, okay. So then the guy takes all the information. I give him the stuff. He's like, all right. He gives me back whatever, some stuff that he took from me to make copies. And he says, just sit right here and wait. I go, okay. So I'm sitting there. 15 minutes go by, and I'm like, I stand up. I go, dude, how am I going to know? Do I get a number, or how am I going to know, like, what's going on? He goes, what do you mean? I go, I'm here to register the car, right? We just talked. He goes, oh, no, it's a drop-off. I go, what do you mean it's a drop-off? He's like, we've been appointment only for a year. I said, yeah, but I explained to you the situation. He goes, come on, man. Now he's like getting loud. And I'm like very calm. You probably don't believe me. Okay. But I was very calm. And I'm like, yeah, but I just explained to you, to her, and to her exactly what I was trying to do. All three of you said you could help me. You told me to sit down. You said, all right, sit right there. If it was a drop off, the bin is right next to me for all the drop off stuff. I would have dropped my shit in the bin and walked away. Why am I here still? He goes, sir, I told you we were appointment only. I go, no, you didn't. Because if you told me we were appointment only and this was a drop-off, I would have just dropped my shit and left. That's what I told you. Like, he's like really getting nasty, and the sheriff desk is right behind him. And I'm like, okay. I go, I gotta tell you this. I go, you're lying. You're full of shit. I go, I'm gonna leave, but it's absurd, right? So then I walk away, and I'm like, on fire mad. I go, and then I realize I got the clipboard. So in the fear of them coming and like charging me or taxing me some New York State clipboard tax, I went back in. I just threw the thing into the door. I go, here's your clipboard back. I just walked away. Irate. I just completely irate because you get treated like such shit when you go there because they can, because there's no repercussion, right? They're going to get the business. Leave New York State if you can. Like, in droves, everybody should leave this state. You have to, I go on to register and it's like $58 to register. But if you want the new plates, it's like 80 some dollars. Why am I paying $30 for the new plates? So I got to pay for the plates, and then when I surrender them, I got to give you $1 to take them back. No, I don't want your new shitty plate. Because the one before it was shitty because they peeled apart. Listen, if you're telling me you're giving the guy's family that's in prison making this plate half the money, I'd actually probably buy it. Instead, it's buying Cuomo's sending sausages over to the hot female reporters to get him to eat them in front of him. I could change my name very easily, Nadine. I'll be the Florida Nick. I'll be the... I don't want to say Georgia Nick because that'll give me trouble. I'll be the Maryland Nick, the Jersey Nick. I'll be something. Arizona. The worst one, though, bear with me here because this one. I had to go to the city, so I take the train in Poughkeepsie. I park my car on, in the parking spots. I pay for parking. I come back. There's a ticket on my car for an expired registration, of course. Or no, it was an inspection. He gave me an inspection ticket. So I go, oh, shit, my car is not inspected. So I leave. I drive home. I pull into the driveway. Amy pulls in behind me, my wife, and says, where's your license plate? I go, what? And she goes, you don't have a plate on your car. I go, are you kidding me? So I walk out, no plate on the back. I back my car out of the driveway, no license plate on the front. I go, what the hell is going on? She says, you drove home with no plates. I'm like, apparently I drove home with no license plates. I call, I go, look, City of Poughkeepsie. I said, I got a ticket on my car. I said, but now I have no plates. She's like, what? I go, yeah, I just got home and there's no license plates on my car. She goes, hold on, let me call the officer. She calls the officer and he goes, yeah, I took the plates. His registration was expired. I go, wait, so you just took the plates off my car, didn't tell me, and let me drive home with no license plates? What the hell is going on? So I drive down to Poughkeepsie. I pay the fines. Now I have to drive back up, re-register the car, and then I have to surrender my plates, right? So I go up, I re-register the car, and I'm like, here are the plates. So I pay everything on a card. I go to give them the plates, and they're like, oh, it's $1 to surrender the plates. I go, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? So I'm looking, I'm like this. I have no cash on me. I go, I don't have $1. Can you just put it on the card? No, it's cash only. I go, I can't believe this. Right? I go, I can't believe I have to give you $1 cash to give you your plates back. Yeah, well, it's $1 cash. We can't do anything. So the guy next to me is like, here, pal. Here's $1. That a bum $1 from the guy next to me. I asked him for a cigarette when we got outside, too. Got to bum one of those, even though I don't smoke. But this is the problem with New York. I mean, the guy took my... Listen, if you're going to take the plates off the car, do me a favor. Leave me a note. Leave me a note. Hey, so you know, FYI, we took your license plates off the car. I hope they give those license plates to somebody in the state government. Wait till they see all the fines on those plates. You're be kidding me. God. Number to call in to chat. Shit, I forgot it. 845-366-2095. I'm missing my buddy here. I'm just rambling on, ranting and raving. Oh, I got something for you. So I don't know if anybody here like does any kind of trading or anything like that, but I put a very small amount of money. When I say small, I'm saying like small. I put it on a Robinhood app and started just trading in and out of crypto, right? So this Dogecoin, I think that's how it's pronounced, right? Dogecoin. So I've been going in and out of this thing with a very small amount of money, but I've been watching for so long that I'm able to kind of see, right, kind of see the not even so much the dips on the chart, but just watching the numbers when they move, right? So I've been going in and out, and the great thing about cryptocurrency is I understand it's not regulated, and you could lose everything. I think we're very early in the crypto game because it's going to change the world with the technology. But just going in at a Doge, right? In 2019, I bought $100 of it, and it was at 0.002. Right, so that's less than a penny, which gave me 50,000 coins, 50,000 shares, right? So we don't confuse people. And if I would have held on to those 50,000, they'd be worth $20,000 today. I think right at this point right now, they'd be worth $20,000. Of course, I don't have it. I sold it a long time ago for a very minimal gain. But I'd have 20 grand right now. So anyway, I'm going in and out. You don't have to worry about the pattern day trader rule. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. You can just go in and out, right? In and out. A pattern day trader is if you don't have $25,000 in your account, you can't do more than 3 round trips in a day. Which means if I bought Tesla today and sold it today, that's 1. If I bought Bed Bath & Beyond and sold it today, that's 2. Round trip. Now I could buy Tesla today and sell it tomorrow. That doesn't count. But it just hinders people that don't have, the 25,000. Right? So the little guy gets screwed no matter what way you look at it. Crypto, it doesn't matter. You can go in, you can buy fractions of a Bitcoin. I can put $1,000 and buy $1,000 worth of 1 Bitcoin. Sell it as soon as it goes up with 2 minutes. I kind of been scalping some gains here and there. And made some cash over the next couple of days. But I said to my son, I said, I go, do you think I can make $500 this week scalping cryptocurrencies? He told me I can't because of the small amount of money that I have on there. So I'm going to prove him wrong. So today I'm up about 160. $160. Just sitting there hitting buttons. So I'll keep next week, and as we go through, maybe on my page, I'll keep everybody kind of up to date, kind of where I stand. But Robinhood has received a lot of flack recently, and they're very slow with their trades. They're very, very slow. And they freeze up sometimes. If there's a lot of activity, it freezes up. It doesn't take 3 days for those trades to settle. Their money's back, able to use. You have that buying power instantaneously in your account. But there was some times last week where I was actually tweeting at Robinhood, like just vigorously on Twitter. I was like, you got to fix this shit. Like, people are losing money. Like, unacceptable. But I'm going to keep everybody up to date on that. I'm going to see if I can do the 500, which would be great because, we're playing in a softball tournament this week and another hotel. Money, money, money. I'm doing this off no notes, by the way. The only notes I have that I wrote down right here are some Yankee batting averages that I just then went in and looked at on baseballreference.com. By the way, which is one of my all-time favorite websites. BBREF, baseballreference.com. I went on there, and I love to look up stats. I don't know why I do this. I love to look up stats of guys compared to Cal Ripken. Because I like Cal Ripken. Great ambassador for the game. But I think Cal was one of the most overrated players in Major League Baseball history. Right? He batted like 260. He has 3,000 hits, hit 400 home runs, but I think he only had 200 hits twice, maybe one time. Right? Like he batted between 260 and 270. I like Cal. He's a Hall of Famer. I get it. But and there's something to be said for showing up to work every day. And I don't know why this all just popped into my head. He played 21 years. He played every day. He had 3,184 hits. He had 200 hits in 83 when he won an MVP, I believe. He won the World Series. 211 hits in 83, 210 hits in 91, and that's it. 2 years of 200 or more hits. He hit 431 home runs. He averaged 91 RBIs a season. He averaged 23 home runs a year. What was his batting average? 276. 276. I just, you compare those to a lot of other guys in the game, and I mean, they dwarf those numbers. He's still a Hall of Famer, don't get me wrong, but he played for 21 years. Consistent MVP, 2-time MVP. I don't know. I shouldn't be shitting on Cal Ripken. I really shouldn't be. That's the wrong thing to do today. Not for any other reason, but I don't hate Cal Ripken. Why can't I? I don't know. I'm going to be a cryptocurrency millionaire by the time the year's over. Again, I will say it is very, very difficult to do this by yourself as far as like the technology part of it, right? I was a little less prepared today because the Yankees were the only thing that was like I was just screaming my head off about for the last couple days. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I'm tired of seeing openers for the Yankees. I mean, I'm tired of guys hitting $160. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And lazy play. It's not the hitting slumps so much. It's more or less that they're lazy. Completely lazy. Mike likes the crypto. Look, I've been reading a lot about it lately, right? And kind of what it does and the different coins, right? Like the different things and what they do and what they provide for society and how this kind of thing is going to. The technology is really just going to be the way to go. Like, people say, well, it's like the early stages of the internet. Even though Bitcoin is at like 56,000. Right? I think that's what it's at. 56,000. $56,000. It's going to go up. Crazy as it sounds. And there's so many coins. I mean, if you go on Coinbase, there's hundreds of coins. Like 250 something. I don't know what the hell's going on. Just take a couple, the amount. The one coin will be able to transfer money to anywhere in the world for 1/10,000th of a percent, and it'd be instantaneous. You're going to tell me that's not going to change the world? The blockchain technology? You're missing out. You're missing out. It's not so much the currency part of it. All right? The currency, is part of it, but the technology behind it and what it's going to do. Right, instead of Marty McFly going to get the almanac from Biff, he's going to be getting Dogecoin and buying Bitcoin, getting it on the crypto. 55,666. I read an article. How about this? I'll leave you with this, and then I'll go into talk about the Yankees real quick again, in baseball and stuff. So, if you invested, right? If you got which camera am I over here? Right. If you took your stimulus money, if you got stimulus money, if you took your stimulus money and you invested it in Dogecoin at the time that you got it, right? At the time the stimulus checks went out, each stimulus check, right? What the price was at the time that those checks started going out. and you invested every stimulus check, like 3 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them. If you invested it in that coin, you'd have $250,000 today. 250,000. I went to the mall. Sneaker stores were packed. People in there buying sneakers like crazy. It was unbelievable how Finish Line, Foot Locker, they were packed. Dogecoin, you'd have $250,000. That blows my mind. Completely blew my mind. You can make money. You just got to be willing to learn something. Right? Take the time to read something. I'm not saying it's easy. Nothing's easy. Do some research. You know, the shit is free. Information is free. For the most part now. Use it. Who do the Yankees have coming up? Who do the Mets have coming up next week? I'll tell you what. I'll give you the. Let's see who the Yankees got coming up. I'll tell you what's going to happen with them. Lakers play the Jazz tonight. That's going to be a shit show. Lakers are going to get destroyed. What do we got today? No Mets, no Yankees, so we don't have to worry about that. Yankees play the Braves. The Braves are 7-9. That's what I thought maybe the Yankees could possibly be right now. I didn't think they'd be 5-10. Complete joke. By the way, the Dodgers and the Dodgers and Padres are going to be that. You're going to want to watch every single one of those games. Did you? Close game. Guy hits a line drive. Mookie Betts dives, catches it in center field to win the game. Those games, pay attention to the Braves, or the Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers, Padres. Even with Tatis out, those are going to be good series. They're going to be really exciting. Mets play the Phillies. This is a big series. You know, the Phillies are 8-7, and no, they don't play the Phillies. That's the Giants. I'm sorry. The Mets play the Cubs. They should be able to handle the Cubs 2 out of 3. Let's get back to the Phillies real quick. The Phillies are a good team. And they're going to play hard for Joe Girardi. Don't get it wrong. This shit wouldn't, that the Yankees are doing right now, if Joe Girardi was in that dugout, that shit would not fly. The Phillies are going to have a good year. The Nationals are probably the worst team in that division. But the Mets play the Cubs this week. Yankees play the Braves. I fully anticipate the Yankees to lose 2 out of 3 games to the Braves. At Yankee Stadium. I don't until they can show me otherwise. I see them losing just every series for the next. Who do they have after this? Braves, Cleveland over the weekend. Baltimore. They should be able to. The Orioles might be the only shot that they have to get on track, but they can't. You know. They can't go into that series 7-16 or some crazy shit like that, because I'll have lost my mind. Completely would have lost my mind. The Knicks playing. The Knicks playing tonight? God, I hate the Knicks. Playing well though, right? Randall just needed to change his scenery. If you're a Knicks fan out there. Julius Randle just needed to change his scenery. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's going to get most improved. I mean, they were chanting MVP. Somebody was chanting MVP somewhere. They're just piping that through the Garden speakers. But look, if you're a Knicks fan, you should feel optimistic, right? You're 31-27. You play the Hornets coming up. You gotta win some of these games, right? The Hornets is a game. The Hornets are. Playing against the Hornets, if you're a good team, if you're going to be a playoff team has to win that game. You have to beat Charlotte. The the Nets are going to run into some trouble. Durant got injured again. They're not in trouble where they're not going to lose. They're not going to lose their spot out of the playoffs. They're still going to go to the conference championship game. They're going to have some struggles, though, against teams like the 76ers if they face a team like that. Definitely going to have trouble against a team like the 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks. Atlanta, I don't think so much. But Brooklyn will have trouble against the 76ers in a long series. But who did we got coming up here? The Hornets. The Hawks. The Hornets and the Hawks back to back. That's tough. That's a tough one. The Hornets, the Bucks, a couple days off. Then they come back and face Toronto. That's a tough 3 games. You got to beat the Hornets. You'll probably lose the second game. And then I think you got to beat the Raptors. And if you do that, I think you set yourself up for a good run here towards the end of the year. I hate to say it because I can't stand the Knicks. But you're going to make the playoffs. I don't know what else to tell you, people. On the fly, I got to thank Jake for FaceTiming me. Let me FaceTime him and set this up. No technical difficulties, which is unbelievable. Kenny will be back next week. I would love to go longer, but running out of gas. Actually, I could do a 3-hour show if I wanted to. I could just sit here and do it. No problem. I'll just Google shit and start talking about it. Let's see here. Hold on. Do you think Joe Girardi is going to put up with Aaron Boone? I mean, yeah. You think Joe Girardi is going to put up with Bryce Harper's bullshit over the course of 162 games? At what point is Joe Girardi going to lose his mind on Bryce Harper? At what point is Joe Girardi going to go Billy Martin, Reggie Jackson on Bryce Harper? I'm surprised Girardi got a job because he's old school, right? He's old school manager, won't put up with any shit. And some teams and some guys, that's what they need. He's a smart baseball guy. He's great in the National League. He was great with the Marlins. I think he won Manager of the Year and they fired him. But guys like that don't get jobs anymore. And I'm surprised that he got a job. But he's going to lose his mind on that guy. Right? Matt Williams is an old school guy. He lost his mind. He got run out of town. Matt Williams wasn't a great manager, but you understand what I'm saying. And at what point is Brian Cashman on the hot seat? Right? Let's end with Brian Cashman. I've defended Brian Cashman all the time. Right? They have a good minor league system. They've brought up guys to fill in holes. They've done great jobs at Joe Girardi's last year or two when the team really wasn't going to contend. They were sellers, and they still had guys. They still had a team that was competitive to the last week of the season. And Cashman got no credit for that. Right? We don't give Brian Cashman credit when he deserves it, but we shit on him, when the team doesn't perform. And I get it. Emotions are high right now with the Yankees. But you got to look back at Brian Cashman's tenure and think, he's done a lot of good. Right? When, I remember being at Yankee Stadium against the Dodgers when they were sellers that year in the last week of the season. Aroldis Chapman made Betances that was the point where Betances was blowing games. But they were still competitive. The year they weren't supposed to do anything. They were competitive. So he's done a lot of good things. People get on him about the Carl Pavano trade or the Jacoby Ellsbury trade. You can get on him about the Ellsbury trade because of the salary, because you just said you weren't going to sign, who was it, Soriano? It was somebody that you were like, I'm not going to sign him for that much. Oh, Cano. Soriano. Jesus, that was a long time ago. You weren't going to sign Cano because of the money in the years, and then you go and you sign Jacoby Ellsbury for not so much, but a very similar contract. The injuries he can't control. He didn't know that he was never going to see the field. Just like the Carl Pavano trade. Everybody gets on him about Carl Pavano. That was the going rate. Those were the guys that everybody in baseball was going after. He didn't know he was basically going to throw like 3 games. He didn't know he was going to crash his car with his girlfriend in the car. Not his wife. His wife was home. He can't predict that stuff. At some point, there also is some kind of onus on the players. There's got to be some responsibility on the players to act right and perform and don't do dumb shit. Right? Yankees signed Brian Taylor in the late 80s, early 90s. Nobody knew he was going to go out and bust his arm in a bar fight and never pitch again after you gave him the first $1 million minor leaguer. So there comes a point where, guys have to perform. Guys have to do the right thing. What I don't understand this year, and look, if these guys, and this is why the Yankee fan is so mad, and you want to run Cashman out of town, but if this team played to its potential, which is why you're so mad, if this team played to its potential, they would be winning games. The reason you're so mad is because they're not playing up to their potential that they should be. That's not Cashman's fault. That's the player's fault. That might be the manager's fault because they're not in a position to succeed. But you can't tell me that it's all Brian Cashman's fault. Look at last year and the year before. You're bringing up guys. They were bringing up guys who were single-A players, would never normally sniff a roster. Now you're begging for Mike Ford to be on the team instead of Jay Bruce. So we give a lot of shit to Brian Cashman. But I would love for somebody to call up and debate this, because I would say, look, if Brian Cashman got fired, his phone would be ringing off the hook. The Stanton deal's not all that bad. They're the Yankees. They have money. They should probably spend it a little better. And that's the other thing. What about, and I guess you could say this is Cashman, right? Because that all the analytics and the scouting department falls under him. And I briefly was flipping through the channels and I heard them talking about this on the radio. How do you have such a shitty analytics team? You're the New York Yankees. You have the worst analytics I've ever seen. And I don't like analytics. But if you're going to have an analytics department, have some good ones in there. These guys are brutal. And that could be on Cashman. But if you look at some of these deals, Cashman has put together good teams that are competitive, teams that are in the power rankings every time they come out. They're supposed to be good. They do win 90 to 100 games every year. Let's not forget that. I understand in the playoffs, sometimes they have trouble scoring runs because it's all home runs. But you can't expect everybody to want to come to the Yankees. You can't expect everybody to want to come to this team when you boo the shit out of every player the first game of the season. And then you want guys to come here? They use the Yankees as leverage to get higher contracts. They don't want to come here and get the shit booed out of them for no reason. Get treated like garbage. Now, it could come to a point in time where if this really doesn't work out this year, maybe it is Cashman's job. Maybe that's another kind of change of scenery thing. But I can't sit here and just be like, Cashman needs to go every single year. Because the reason that you're so mad that the team is not performing, because they're playing well below their expectations. If a team is playing well below their expectations, then how is it the general manager's fault? Because you're basically saying the general manager did a good job. They're just not playing up to their expectations. Cashman can't hit the ball. Cashman doesn't throw the ball. He doesn't pitch. Where I think there's a problem is I think you need a manager that you just say, here, manage, and that's it. The reason they wanted Aaron Boone, who's never coached at any level, and gave him the keys to the Lamborghini, the keys to the Cadillac, the New York Yankees, is because they could pull strings from up above. And they'll know he'll use all the analytics, and they can help him make the lineup and all these different things. Joe Girardi, guys like that, Buck Showalter. Maybe Buck Showalter's the next GM. Guys like that aren't gonna. That's not gonna fly. Right? They're gonna go. No, I'm managing this team. Stay out of here. Let me manage it. You hire me to manage, right? You sit up there and count beans. I'll manage the game. I don't understand why Brian Cashman is always getting shit on by the fans. The guy's giving you 90, 100 win seasons. They sputter in the playoffs. Okay. Jeter sputtered a lot in the playoffs too. A-Rod sputtered a lot in the playoffs too, except for 2009. So, I don't know. I'll be the GM. I don't want to be the GM. I want to be the manager. I want to be in there just kicking fucking garbage cans over and yelling at everybody. I'll be like after the Oakland A's won in in Moneyball when the A's lost and Brad Pitt is walking by and they're playing music and he walks in and they're dancing and he just smashes the thing. He just smashes the radio with a bat. Go, you hear that? That's what losing sounds like. This team is too comfortable right now. They need to get a wake-up call. All right, people. That's for me. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Far too kind. Oh, no, please stop. Please. I don't deserve it. Or are you just cheering that it's over? All right. I want to thank myself for being here and doing it all. I want to thank my wife for all the support over the years. I want to thank my son for FaceTiming and getting this set up. I don't know how I'm going to shut it off. I might just jump out this window right here. Just leave it. I'll probably get a ticket on the way home now. All right, everyone. Peace.